What's up, fellas? Welcome, everyone, to the Friday edition of Pick Central. We are live in the Barstool Sportsbook YouTube channel. Once again, Brandon Walker is out, so I am hosting. Appreciate Brandon for giving me this opportunity. I'm Ben Mitz, Barstool Mitzi. Joined on my left, a man who really, I feel like he always brings even more energy on Fridays than a usual day. That's Rico Bosco. I know, Rico, you're a Friday guy.
Yeah, it's a baseball Friday now, but pretty soon we're going to be getting the football Fridays. I can't wait. 3 weeks away from the season. Looking forward to it.
And what a treat. Second day in a row. We got a Tommy Smokes appearance.
It's a treat to be next to you, Mitzi. That's the true treat. And Rico, of course.
Well, we brought Tommy on, too, and we're expecting a phone call from one of our esteemed colleagues over in Chicago here in a second, because we want to open up talking about last night's Field of Dreams game. And, you know, first of all, from a casual pro baseball supporter, blew me away. One of the best sporting events. They did just everything about it. Couldn't have asked for a better ending. Well, I'm sure Tommy disagrees.
I could have asked for a better
more.
ending,
How about a more?
yeah.
We'll call it a more dramatic ending.
From a neutral standpoint.
If you're like
yeah,
a Padres fan, yeah, that was an awesome
right,
ending.
exactly.
No, and so I thought it was just insane what happened in the ninth. I mean, the Yankees were down. What was it, 7-3 in the ninth with 2 outs?
7-4 in the
7-4,
ninth.
and there were 2 outs.
Yeah, came back. I mean, it was a great comeback for the Yankees. It was exciting in the moment, and Judge and Stanton to both hit clutch home runs in the ninth inning. It's probably the first time that's ever happened in the same game while they both been on the Yankees. But I wasn't very confident because it just felt like the balls were flying out of there. Zach Britton sucks. He shouldn't have been pitching the ninth inning, but Aaron Boone's an idiot. So I kind of just once Britton walked the 9-hitter, I had no faith.
I had a very funny exchange with Tommy last night. Obviously, I love when the Yankees lose, but early in the game, Ben, have you seen this Ernie Johnson clip that's going viral? When
No.
It's unbelievable.
I saw Kevin Costner was everywhere last night.
Right. So Ernie Johnson spoke to the Alabama football team, and he says that there's value in everybody. He talks about adopting. It's something like it's very touching. It's worth the 5 minutes if you go find it.
Some things.
Yeah, big time. Some things. Funhouse, who's a Francesa parody account, tweeted Ernie Johnson thinks there's value in everybody. He clearly hasn't met Andrew Haney. So I sent it to the Yankee guys, and they were like, that's pretty good.
He's
but
horrible.
yeah, I mean, you guys are like, at what point do you got to keep riding him? Like, when can you get rid of him? Yeah.
I think he has to. So Cole and Montgomery will be back. I think they're probably going to pitch a doubleheader Tuesday against the Red Sox. I think Haney has to pitch Wednesday, even though I would pitch literally anybody else in the organization.
Right.
Like bring up a single 8 pitcher. They can't be worse than him. Because of 40-man stuff, he'll probably have one more start as a Yankee. Okay. And hopefully that will be it. That will be it.
Well, what was a Brit? Is Britain? Why did they send him out in the ninth? What was that about?
I mean, he is sort of, I guess, their de facto closer while Chapman is hurt. And the White Sox do mash lefties, which is why I was stupid. But I guess with the balls flying out of the stadium, they wanted a ground ball pitcher because Britton is supposed to be a ground ball pitcher. But I would have went Loaisiga because he's just been a flat-out better pitcher this year. But Aaron Boone's Aaron Boone, so.
I feel like if there are more games in those cornfields in Iowa, they're going to be overs, huh? That ball was flying out last night.
Yeah, people were saying maybe the balls are juiced. It was the same thing the London series 2 years ago, Yankees-Red Sox. There was 30 runs the first game, 20 runs the second game or something. So I don't know if it's just the weird fields or something, but, I mean, MLB's got to be happy. They've gotten such dramatic, high-scoring affairs.
Carl tweeted it last night, too. The game almost went so well for MLB that, anything next year has to be a letdown. You know, it's almost one of those, such lightning in a bottle. It was an unbelievable environment and experience. The uniforms I thought were cool, too. Everything about it.
Right, next year,
almost
can Kevin Costner walk out like that and do the same exact thing? I don't think
Probably not. Yeah, it's almost like a guaranteed letdown next year, you know?
Right. Maybe they start mimicking other baseball movies.
All right, guys. Speaking of that, I believe we've got a
Bull Durham. I like that.
Following up on last night, we've got, I believe, I hope I'm hitting the button right. It's the first time I've run the calls. We're going to be joined on air by our esteemed colleague over in Chicago who posted seemed like a very happy man last night. White Sox Dave joining us on Pick Central. What's up, White Sox Dave? How are you today?
Fellas, how are we doing this morning?
Not great.
I'm doing fine, Dave.
I'm glad to hear that, Rico. I'm glad to hear you're back in the office slinging some picks on Pick Central.
Thanks, Dave. So recap the game. Yankees go in, get a lead in the ninth. They must have won it, right? What do you got?
Yeah, it was. I mean, once they took the lead, there was no point in watching because there has never, ever in the history of baseball been a comeback down 1 in the 9th. So I turned it off, and then I saw on the Twitter sphere that TA walked it off, and I couldn't believe it. Like, I woke up this morning, and I had to, like, make sure that I wasn't dreaming, because there's just never been a comeback ever. And Yankees fans apparently didn't realize that. And, I mean, like, I'll cut the bullshit. Like, the amount of Yankees fans that were in my mentions after that fucking 9th inning when Hendricks gave up the 2 ding-dongs last night, it had to have been in the hundreds. Just people coming at me in droves. And that's fine. That's the fun part of sports, is talking shit to your opponents and everything. But, like, I couldn't let them get away with that. Those fucking greasy losers.
And I will say those fans have maybe not watched much Yankee baseball this year and seen the excruciating losses that they've had just day after day. Because anyone that's seen how many heart-wrenching losses the Yankees have had this year were not celebrating too early.
Can you imagine it the other way? Like, people, if the Mets took the lead in the 9th, people tweeting at Frank like, "Hey, buddy, we got it. We got Frank would kill somebody."
Yeah, exactly.
Like, that's baseball. It was funny to watch Mush, like, just you two idiots going back and forth. Was awesome. It was a great game. Crazy.
I'm glad Tommy brought up Mush, because you just described Marty Mush perfectly. Like,
How so?
Marty picked a really unfortunate time to start hating the White Sox for I'm not sure why.
And that's exactly what I tried telling him when he started doing that. And I believe it was I was trying to find the tweet a few minutes ago. I couldn't find it though. I believe it was the Viva La Stool account or the old Barstool radio account or something when we had Sirius, that he just out of nowhere, it was right before the shutdown. It was in like February of 2020, I want to say. He had Chuck Naso in the studio, and he was just going off on the White Sox. And I'm like, dude, Marty, I follow this sport, and I'm not trying to be like, oh, I know more about baseball than Marty Mush. Like, I follow this sport very, very, very carefully. This is not a good idea for you right now. And the Yankees, like, to their credit, they swept the White Sox earlier, but, like, all the Yankees fans that have been coming at me in the last 12 hours or so saying, oh, you faced our C lineup, Andrew Heaney was pitching, he's a bum. That's all true, but you can't also turn around and say, oh, we swept the White Sox earlier, because the White Sox were missing Eloy Jimenez. Anybody who watched that game last night saw the raw power that Eloy Jimenez has. He's got 5 bombs or 6 bombs in the 8 games he's been back. Luis Robert looked awesome. Adam Engel has been out all year. He's been awesome. They missed Kopech for a month and a half. Grandal's been out for 5 weeks. He's an all-star catcher. Like, you can't have it both ways. So that's why, like, I am, like, all in on just completely burying all these loser Yankee fans. And I know that they don't represent the whole fan base. Every fan base has shitty fans and fans that are idiots and fans with the burner accounts that, of Luis Robert, or on the other side of, like, Aaron Judge or Garrett Cole. But, like, you guys are fucking clowns if you do that. You're such an idiot. Like, you guys are all the worst of sports fandom. Like,
those people are Yankee fans.
Talk shit.
No,
I'm saying those people in general.
No,
like,
I agree. I mean, I'll go at Yankee fan accounts sometimes too. It's the same ones, like you said, with the Garrett Cole, like, cool edits in their avatar pictures, like that are like 16-year-olds who just, like, read fan graphs and think they know everything about baseball.
I've said it a million times. Growing up listening to WFAN, some of the Yankee callers, and you, like, when I talk, like, with you guys non-bullshit, Yankee fans know a ton. Hubbs is one of the smartest guys baseball-wise. Like, Mush, watch the Yankees in and out. Like, it's fun to go back and forth with you, Tommy. I think you're all very educated. But there is that dynamic in Yankee fans who are like, just started rooting for the fucking team last week, watch the team in the playoffs. I say it all the time, jersey with the name on the back, and it gives you a bad rap, because I will say good Yankee fans are some of the best in baseball. But you do get that bad rap because there are so many.
Yeah, I mean, every fan base has the bad fans.
Especially for a national organization like Cowboys
so
football,
many fans
like that too.
where, like, some of them are going to be bad.
Yeah.
So yeah, I agree. But, like, as a whole, and I wasn't expecting much, and I'm like, I was going to bring my dad out there. We tried every which way to get credentialed and everything, and Fox was just not having it, and the ticket prices were absurd. And, like, if I would have gone all in and got my dad out there with me, it would have been about a $4,000 baseball game to attend. So I wasn't sure that the juice would be worth the squeeze. And I woke up this morning, and as much fun as I had watching it last night, like, I can't believe I didn't drop the money on those tickets.
How much were the tickets last night?
So there was only 8,000 people, like, stand seats or whatever, and they were going even like right before first pitch, like a few hours prior to the game, like, because we're only 3 hours from there, 3.5 hours or so driving distance. Like, you could get in your car and be there quick. They were still going for $1,500 a pop, so you got to get a hotel, gas money, and all that. It would have been to take two people about $4,000.
The two questions that I have off of the game: is it World Series or bust for the White Sox? And two, all shtick aside, because the Yankees have been pretty hot aside from last night, do you think the Yankees make the playoffs at 2 games out of the wild card?
I mean, all right. To answer the first question, I absolutely think that the White Sox can win the World Series. I don't know if they will. But I will not call it World Series or bust, because they're going to be good for a very extended window. I mean, it's going to be at least 5 years where they're very competitive, winning the AL Central and making a mark in the playoffs. I would never be dumb enough to say World Series or bust, but should they be hoisting the Commissioner's Trophy come November 1st or whatever date it is, then like nobody on this planet that has watched this team play, especially now that they're fully healthy almost,
Right.
That wouldn't be a shock to anybody. With the Yankees, like I do not trust their pitching staff. Cole's obviously Cole. Spider Tack or no Spider Tack, he's a freak. Montgomery's a perfectly adequate big league starting pitcher. And then Tyon, I know he was hot for a month. Like, I don't trust him.
He's been like the best pitcher in the AL for a month and a half. I was weary on Tyrone for a while, but he's earned my trust.
I mean, we'll see Saturday. He's going to be facing a good lineup tomorrow, actually. I don't trust him. He hasn't pitched deep into the season. I mean, I think 2-time Tommy John, right?
Yeah, 2-time Tommy.
He could go down at any given moment. That Gill kid, I was watching that Gill kid pitch Saturday. I don't have the slightest clue I think it was last Saturday. I don't have the slightest clue who that kid is. That kid's stuff is electrifying. I think I got his name right.
Heel, I think is how he.
Oh
says
yeah,
it.
the
Heel.
Latin pronunciation.
Yeah.
Heel.
No, he was like a top-ish prospect for them, but not like a phenom, like maybe 5th or 6th. But he's been really good. Like, I'd much rather him starting than Andrew Haney. That's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, Haney's just in there to do what he did last night. He's like a sacrificial lamb until they get Cole and Montgomery back. Then he won't be there. Maybe throw him in like as a loogie in the bullpen or something. But it's going to be between them and I do think Boston will kind of find their level. They played way over their heads all year until this little collapse they've had recently. But I do think I think they built up enough, wins to the point where they can kind of tread water and sneak into, not even sneak into the playoffs, not fall out of the playoffs, I should say. But I mean, the Blue Jays lost last night to Anaheim, I want to say, right?
I'd have to look.
I think they did, and I mean, it's going to be between them and the Blue Jays, the Yankees. So I mean, maybe, I don't know. I mean, I think the A's will be fine. The A's are always going to be the A's. Find ways to win, and we'll see. I mean, I would love, and I will put this on the record and for the masses, a White Sox versus Yankees playoff series.
I think
it'd be good
that
for
would
business.
Be just incredible content.
And the content for us, like, selfishly, would be unreal, but I think it would just be a gutter war of a series. Because, I mean, those teams match up with each other really well. There's not, one team's not exceptionally better when at full strength than the other. I think it would be just an outstanding series. Like, when they played in May, I was talking to one of the guys, and it was actually Rodon, and I'm like, hey, that's like that's the ALCS preview right there. I think he had 13 strikeouts that game. He's like, yeah, that team's filthy, but like, we're not afraid of them, even though we lost tonight. And obviously they got swept, but
Dave, I want to ask you about the video last night because we got that was part raw videos like that are what makes Barstool what it is. And man, you were fired up and rightfully so after the game. You said a lot of Yankees fans there was a lot of celebrating early after that comeback.
Hey, where are you? Oh yeah, that's really Radon, and I'm like, hey yo, that's like the fucking that's the ALCS preview right there. I think he had 13 strikeouts that game. He's like, yeah, that team's filthy, but like we're not afraid of them.
The Yankees own the White Sox. The Yankees are this. The Yankees are going to the playoffs. The Yankees are hot. Suck my fucking dick, you fucking losers, each and every one of you. To that fake-ass fan Marty Mush who doesn't even watch the fucking team yet has a podcast about him, to Eric Hubbs, to that little runt Tommy Smokes, and to each and every one of you Garrett Cole profile picture having motherfuckers. Fuck you, suck my fucking dick.
You almost forgot my name, Dave.
Eloquently said. I just responded. I just said eloquently said, Dave.
I want it on record that he did not take a shot at TJ because TJ is one of the nicest guys here. I would have been out on that video if he took a shot at TJ. I want that on record. Everybody else fair game.
I didn't even want to say anything about Hubs or Smokes because they haven't really gotten into the mud about the whole Yankees White Sox thing. It's 100% been mush.
Yeah.
But I didn't want to like include one Yankees guy and not the other, and like I don't know, I'd like show anybody up in that respect. I don't know, it was all off the cuff. Like I will not lie, there were 3 Chi edibles consumed last night. A lot of people did notice that. I saw in the responses, but like at the same time, like it was 100% heartfelt and honest. Like the Yankees fans, I don't want to say the Yankees fans. The stereotypical gabagool, greasy Yankees fan is Satan reincarnated. It's Saint Lucifer, the worst group of people on the planet.
I will say I don't mind that reputation. Like I like when Yankee fans do have that reputation.
You like being the villain?
Yankee fans should be the villains. They should be the gabagool greaseballs.
And even as much as I hate them, I'll say this till the day I die. Sadly, I have more anti-Yankee playoff memories than Met playoff memories growing up.
Oh yeah.
Like
that's why I always hate Met fans. Is sometimes it feels like they root for the Yankees more than they root for the Mets. Root against the Yankees. I'm sorry.
Well, we don't really have a choice. We do. I mean, you guys were in it every year. Like
the Diamondbacks 7-game World Series, the broken bat. Luis Gonzalez is like one of my all-time baseball memories.
Yeah, I was like 5.
Yeah.
So that's
I was already in college.
So. I was at a Sweet 16 when they lost in 03, and like everybody I was like fist bumping under the table with that one. You know.
Yeah, I mean, I had a lot of crushing, like, I
the 3-0 blown series, obviously. Like, there has, for as many good ones as you guys have,
my eyes out
there are a ton of bad ones, so.
Dave, finally, before I let you go, are you going to be out there? Are you going to the games on Saturday and Sunday? I got to think the atmosphere is going to be on. I got to think it's going to be on fire, the atmosphere, the next couple of days in Chicago, huh?
Yeah, I do have beef with someone that is on the Pick Central team, not on the camera necessarily, but I did text Za to try to get his ass out here for the tailgate because we're just going to throw a tailgate for the game tomorrow. A little impromptu, tailgate action, and he never texted me back, which is a little fucked up if you ask me.
I mean, I'll just fly out to Chicago. I got Arsenal, bro. Arsenal's back.
He's got.
I'd love to.
You can watch Arsenal here. We got a beautiful new office.
Actually, that is true. We gotta figure out a way to come out there and do it.
I need to get over there too.
6 p.m. games, Za. I'm just saying.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
Dave, is your head feeling okay today? I know you were getting hit with the bonk hammer a lot last night on Twitter.
I knew that was coming, but I actually know that girl personally, so I am like, fuck it, I'll just let the people have their fun. It wasn't just some random girl.
Wow.
Awesome.
It's like a fucking cartoon.
Well, Dave, thanks for joining us today on Pick Central. Loved your passion and enthusiasm. This is a fun Barstool debate. Like, everybody has their favorite teams here, but I think Dave for the White Sox and Walker for Mississippi State are maybe the two that stand out the most. Do y'all have any other? I mean, Troops are and
Frankie Islanders.
Frankie Islanders.
Frankie Islanders. Actually, you know what? I take that back. Frankie Islanders, I wasn't thinking hockey in my brain. Frankie Islanders with Borelli's is definitely.
Frank Metz.
Yeah, but
even if
I think the Frank Metz thing, though, I'm almost at a point where KFC was talking about this yesterday. Like, he doesn't cheer when they make good plays. It's almost like he likes the misery so much for the content that I almost question the love.
I walked out yesterday. I walked out of the bathroom and the office was kind of empty. I just see Frank screaming into his phone for his Mets recap. This guy fucking sucks. This guy sucks. And he goes, but at the end of the day, they won. I was like, wait, that's a post game win rant?
Yeah. It's.
I just feel like you got
negative fans are still fans.
No doubt. I just feel like, what's the point if you're not going to enjoy when they win?
He wouldn't know what to do with. They could get him on the World Series parade. It's like the old story. There was a WFAN call. The Yankees win the World Series. He calls Francesa the day after and goes, I'm really worried about next year. They're already looking ahead. Like, there are some guys wired like that. Frank could be on the float and be like, this is the end. We're never winning again.
If the Mets won the World Series, he'd be like, well, no team's repeated in 20 years.
Yeah,
so.
Exactly. But that's what makes fans. So, you said, it's.
All right. Well, Dave, thank you for joining us, man. We appreciate your time and love your passion, energy, and enthusiasm. And boy, that video last night was something. Man.
Bro.
You definitely crushed that one.
He's off the line.
Oh, he's off the line. Okay, thanks. The chat kind of commenting. Appreciate them all commenting. They were saying a lot of regular season long baseball talk there. But how can we not talk about the Field of Dreams, chat boys? Like, that was one of the most unique sporting events I've ever seen last night.
Yeah. I'm a baseball fan. I would say when September starts, baseball definitely goes to the back burner. But that's when pennant races are. So there's that balance of like baseball's still going on. It's some meaningful shit. And don't get me wrong, if the Mets aren't in it, I'm watching the NFL and I'm watching college. But when you have a team in a pennant race, you better be able to balance that shit.
It is weird. September feels weird for baseball when football starts too. And then in October, I think it gets back to NFL's always king, but playoff baseball still
plus
asses in the
playoff baseball during the week is such a awesome. It's a dominant. All right, we got something every day now. It's awesome.
Right.
We've got we'll take a couple other calls. We're going to get into football. We're having a big old time as we always do on Friday. Let's catch a call from Trey Brown here. Trey, what's up, man? I see you've got a CFB question. You're on Pick Central. Do we got you? Trey?
Trey Brown sounds like
Brown?
All-state receiver, by the way.
Nope. He says
take your phone off mute.
I don't think we got Trey. All right, let's go. We got another person on.
Wait, hold on.
All right. I'm learning how to manage the phones here.
Trey Brown,
are you there? Guess not. All right. Our phone line, 646-291-2437. That's 646-291-2437. Rico, I know we don't get too into the preseason football, but a lot of talk about the Mac Jones, Cam Newton stuff today.
Yeah, so the I'll get it. Really looked almost like a bad beat at the end. Did you see the play they waved off, the 2-point conversion? The football team went all the way down, and they're down 2. They go for 2. The line's 1.5. He looks like he catches it. They punch it out. Could have gone either way. The Patriots end up getting a touchdown backdoor. But, the rich get richer. Mac Jones looked pretty good, right?
I felt like he's ready to play. He played granted, at Alabama, he had all American receivers, running backs, and the best O-line, so he never got touched. But coming out of playing for Sark and Nick Saban's system and how he's coached and the professionalism, and he was a, 4 or 5 year guy. He was in the same recruiting class as Tua and Jalen Hurts, I believe, or maybe Jalen Hurts was a year ahead. But he was, he's an older guy. He's 22, 23, so maybe he can translate and play earlier.
That's what I was going to say. You think the professionalism is being undersold? That he came from Alabama, you know what I mean?
Saban and Belichick are old school.
Right, knows how to carry himself, no bullshit. He's never going to get in trouble.
If you're going to play for Bill Belichick, the easiest transition is coming from Saban.
I almost want to say also, is he humble? As good as he was at Alabama, did he look like a...
No, he's got those
he was
hips swinging like an ass.
Yeah, it was just a team guy.
There was a funny story
fits right in
from back in the day before Mac actually got on the field at Bama when they Tua and Jalen Hurts. He was tearing up the first-string Bama defense on the scout team to the point where Saban bitched about it, and Mac Jones laughed in Nick Saban's face as the scout team QB. He's like, telling me not to do my job.
Right, yeah.
And I liked him ever since I heard that story. I thought that was
I also think with the Patriots, what Cam Newton is. You saw him last year. He's not going to magically be better this year. He's pretty mediocre to below average. Why not see what Mac Jones can do?
I do think, though, Mac Jones is not necessarily a lock.
He had 13 passes and 85 yards. Let's not get too annoying.
Without a doubt.
Yeah.
You do need to hold on to that backup option if it goes sour. You do need a pro You can't have like two rookies. You do need somebody like Cam Newton who's been around the block.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So especially it's a gamble.
Well, the strength of their team, they got a good O-line. They went big on the tight ends with Hunter Henry and Jonnu Smith. Damian Harris looked good running the ball late last year. They got a pretty good looking running core. James White's third down back. They still got Sonny Michel. The receiving core, I mean, Aguilar, they paid all that money. N'Keal Harry hadn't done much.
I don't know how the Patriots have ever had wide receivers. It seems like they never have wide receivers.
I mean, since Moss and I guess, yeah.
They got Moss. I say it all the time. They got Moss at the end of his career. When I thought they got Brandon Cooks, I was like, oh, okay. They're gearing up to give Brady one more run here with a Super Bowl, and then they get rid of Cooks. Like, instantly. You know, like, they get whatever they get. Yeah, it's a position that if you do look historically, drafting in the first round doesn't necessarily work out. Like, there's been a ton more busts. So don't spend your assets on it. I don't know. But somehow it worked. I mean, he got as many rings as he did.
All right, we got a bunch of calls and Friday. Love interacting with the Stoolies. Appreciate you guys calling us. Also, I'm enjoying interacting with the chat boys and the Barstool Sportsbook YouTube channel. Before we get to these calls, let's talk about the Showtime pay-per-view. And Most Valuable Promotions present Jake Paul versus Tyrone Woodley, a 5-fight pay-per-view event in Jake Paul's hometown of Cleveland, Ohio. This professional boxing card will take place on Sunday, August the 29th. This action-packed pay-per-view telecast will be produced and distributed by Showtime Pay-Per-View, beginning live at a special time of 8 p.m. Eastern. The main event will feature renowned content creator and undefeated pro boxer Jake the Problem Child Paul and former UFC champion Tyrone the Chosen One Woodley. Tickets are on sale now and can be purchased at RocketMortgageFieldhouse.com. Order now. Go to the Showtime app or Showtime.com/pay-per-view and watch the event live on any supported device. This event is also available on all major cable, satellite, and telco pay-per-view providers for $59.99. And, man, that's a big weekend, that last weekend of August, because college football starts Labor Day. That's kind of the end of the summer. You know, Rough and Rowdy, the Showtime thing. You know, they're smart marketing to embrace that last week in August before football and blow it out.
You usually think like the first week of May, right, is what has all the sporting events. Sometimes you get the Kentucky Derby, playoff
the first Saturday in May used to be awesome.
Yeah,
Mayweather always fought. That seemed like
they had a Pacquiao fight one year, right? And now we have late August too up there.
Awesome. Well, we're going to get to the phone lines. I want to get to all you guys. Appreciate y'all interacting with the show. 646-291-2437. We've got a guy that's got it's Cal. He's from Atlanta, and he wants to talk Ole Miss. So that's a you know, when Brandon's in the host chair, that means you've got no chance of getting on the air. When I'm on the host chair, you're on. So, Cal, what's up? You're on Pick Central. How are you, man?
What's up, fellas? I listen, long-time listener. I'm a big fan of the Rebels. I've been seeing the lines at, 7.5. I think they could win 9 or 10 games. The only two games that give me pause is obviously Alabama or A&M. Didn't know what your thoughts were on that.
Look, I love the confidence, and if things broke, it's one of those things. If things break exactly right for Ole Miss, they could get to 9. It's possible. The problem is the depth is getting better, but the NCAA sanctions are still kind of felt on the roster. Kiffin's done a good job getting some transfers in. I do think the defense improves from like 125th to 70th. The offense is going to be great, but the depth is still not the best. And so you got to get some injury good luck and not get too hurt if you're going to try to win 9 games this year. That's my concern. The over-under 7.5, but you just don't know about health, how physical SEC football season is. I think the talent, the top-line talent, is there. I love the coaching staff, but if a couple people get hurt, it could go south. That's my concern.
Yeah, I think if the defense gets a little better, just proportionally better. I mean, it doesn't have to be stellar. I think they could do it really well.
Well, that's the thing, though. Their defense has been bad. You got to figure one loss is going to be on the defense, right? Where they just get their asses kicked on defense. As good as Coral is, right?
Corral.
So, Corral?
Yeah.
Okay. It looks like Coral.
Looks like Coral. That's how I would say it. I would just go – I mean, the defense is going to lose your game. You already said there's 2 losses. Now you're playing with – you only have 9 winnable games. And what is it, 7.5?
It's 7.5.
So there's not a lot of wiggle room. I don't like doing under-overs with a lot of wiggle room like that.
5-5 last year. Like I said, I think the offense is going to be really good. Non-conference should beat Louisville and Atlanta. The Liberty one's so tricky.
Without a doubt.
So tricky with Freeze coming back to Oxford, especially because it's after LSU and at Auburn, so it comes in a weird spot. SEC West, obviously tough. Ole Miss does, as usual, getting to play Vandy from the East doesn't hurt. I mean, I think 8 or 9 wins could definitely happen. I'm very optimistic. I love that if the defense improves from 125th to 70th, you keep a top 10 offense. So we'll see. I love the optimism. Got to say, Cal, it's nice being excited as an Ole Miss fan. It's the first time we could say that since 2016, and we appreciate the call.
Absolutely. Thanks, guys.
All right, guys, we got a bunch of calls. Let's get to Trey. We're coming back to you, Trey. College football. You're on Pick Central. What's up, man?
What's up, boys? How we doing?
Doing pretty damn good, man. It's Friday, talking some college football. We're only a couple, 15 days from week 0. Be here before we know it.
Go.
What's on your mind?
Let's go. Hey, I have 2 questions for you guys. I'm an Indiana football fan, Indiana basketball fan. Was last year's Indiana football season a fluke? Or do you think they're a legit program?
You want me to take that one?
Go ahead.
My
I have an opinion too.
Very quick. I love Tom Allen. Okay, last year when the country was falling apart, I saw a video on him about how much sports means, what you can do to affect the locker room. Penix was unbelievable last year. They hit, it seemed like lightning in a bottle. I don't think they're ever going to quit on the guy and be a dumpster fire, but I do think last year was lightning in a bottle, and they won a bunch of close games. I think you're due for a letdown back to what you were for the last 20 years. But I will be rooting for Tom Allen forever. I do think you're due for a letdown.
My concern is this. I think Tom Allen is the energy, hell of a coach. Indiana's still not recruiting at that top 15, top 20 level. And when I think they had a great year last year. And Penix, they still won despite Penix getting hurt. They're getting their starting quarterback back, and that's a whole different deal. Yeah. I guess maybe I'm obviously biased because I watched that Outback Bowl as an Ole Miss fan. Still lacking some speed and athleticism. I know they got a couple guys at receiver and Frafo that can make some plays, but I feel like they need a little more explosive playmakers.
Gotcha.
My opinion.
I guess. And then my other question was, here in Indiana, the worst fans are the Notre Dame football fans and IU basketball fans. Can you guys think of another program or another state that might have that same type of awful fan?
Tennessee.
I heard. So I was in Nebraska when I was in Omaha for the College World Series, and there's a lot. I'm not calling them awful, but there's got a lot of Nebraska football and Creighton basketball fans there. But right. I'm not saying that's.
Never heard that one.
Yeah, but that's like a Nebraska thing, and I'm not saying that means they're awful. But it is odd to have that situation where you've got different school football, basketball fans. I don't know. That's something I'd have to think on.
That means you probably went to neither, right?
Yeah. What's that?
Those people probably went to neither of those schools, because if you went to one of them, you would just be rooting for them throughout everything, I would assume.
Something like that. All right, let's get a call from Jake from St. Louis calling to talk some NFL. Jake, thanks for the call. You're on Pick Central.
Minty, Rico, what up? It's a pleasure.
What's up?
So I'm kind of a homer pick for NFL preseason this week, but it's Packers -3, which I think is very low considering some of these other lines in the NFL preseason, -7 and whatnot. And basically the Packers front office, media, the whole world has been putting all this pressure on Jordan Love. He didn't have a preseason last year with COVID, and the Packers are saying he's going to take a lot of reps. And I kind of think this is a lock. The Packers have a ton of wide receivers, not including the starters, and I think they're all going to play, including some young draft picks, and they're saying he's going to get a lot of snaps. I think that's the lock of the weekend.
I just don't know, because last year you mentioned it, the COVID thing, and he didn't even dress out in games last year. I mean, this is basically Jordan Love's rookie year. I mean, he came from Utah State. He was an inactive on game day. So, I mean, I liked what he did in college, but I don't know enough to back this here. I'm not a preseason. Where's Marty Mush, our preseason gambler, when we need him?
Yeah. The king. I'm 1-0 in preseason,
there you go. But I'm going to keep a close eye on it. I like the logic and appreciate the call. I wish I had more to give you as far as preseason.
I do like that,
no
though.
Problem. I appreciate it.
When you're betting on backup quarterbacks, if you have a guy who wants to prove himself, I don't hate the rationale to bet on Love. So,
all right, let's go to, we got a call from Trey. He's wanting to talk some MLB. Trey, what's up? You're on Pick Central.
Hey, how are you doing, fellas?
Doing good, man. Getting ready for the weekend. Could be worse.
Yeah, outstanding. First of all, love the show. Just a quick question. Obviously Miggy hit his 499th home run on Wednesday, and my recent memory, and I tried to look it up, but I can't tell, was that a lot of times when hitters going for milestones, and he's getting close to 3,000 too. It takes them a while to do it, and sometimes the team even slumps. So I'm just wondering if you have any opinion. Do you fade the Tigers or do you bet on them? I mean, the fans, they have a 6-game homestand now. The fans are all behind him. But what are your thoughts on that? I mean, again, recent memory, I think it took A-Rod a while.
Yeah, A-Rod's 600th home run, I remember taking
it is an interesting dynamic, and it's got to be in his head because just the amount of pressure. Because baseball, more than any other sport, is about the stats and record books.
Right.
I mean, that's, especially when he compares at the end of his career, he's on a team that's playing okay, but certainly not going to the playoffs.
They got a little bit of fight in them.
No, they are. No, they had the horrible April, but they've been okay.
I think they snuck into second in the AL Central. Not that really says anything at all.
No,
but
that's a rough. Yeah, that's a rough division. I don't know. That is an interesting dynamic, though. I haven't really thought about that for gambling. I just what a career. I hope he gets there soon.
It sounds stupid, but you know what I would do is move him up in the order too. Even
Just
if it's
more
from
opportunities?
Yeah, more opportunities. Second, bat him second.
Yeah.
Especially it's a homestand. You would like these people to have it on a homestand, especially in a bad year.
Yeah, I remember that was a big Jeter thing. First 3,000th hit, there was so much pressure for him to do it at home.
Yeah.
And he did.
All right. Well,
and then he stiffed the guy
in
and caught the
style.
ball.
Well, thank
he
you.
didn't.
Thank you for the call, and we appreciate your support of Pick Central.
I appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Nice.
We got a call from Austin, Texas. Or no, it's Austin. My bad. It's Austin. He's from Michigan, but he's calling about college football. What's up, Austin? You're on Pick Central. How are you?
Yeah, I'm doing well. Happy Football Friday, boys. So, yeah, I got a future out of the Big Ten West here, and I'm taking Purdue over 5. It's -134 on Barstool Sportsbook right now. And listen, feel free to stop me, but workshopping through the schedule, I think they're going to start out 4-1. They have Oregon State, UConn, lost to Notre Dame, Illinois, and Minnesota. So that's 4-1. And then I'm throwing out Wisconsin, Iowa, and Ohio State. And then to get 2 more wins, they have Nebraska, Michigan State, Northwestern, and then home versus Indiana.
I like that. What's the number? 4.5 or 5?
It's 5 even, -134.
Okay. So to play it safe, in my own head, I would say start 3-2. I wouldn't give you 4-1 just to be worst case scenario. But I do think you can get 3 on the back end. I like that. Brahms also in a.
It's a weird year because he did well at the beginning, and Rondell Moore. They need to replace Rondell Moore.
It's a make it or break it year for him too. Like I loved him at Western Kentucky, and now he's in a big time job, like sink or swim here. So, yeah, I like it. I didn't know the schedule was that bad.
Yeah, and last year too, the quarterback Jack Palmer had COVID issues at the start of the year, and he only played the last 3 games, but he put up some big numbers. So, give me the Boilers.
Awesome. Well, thank you for the call. Appreciate you joining us on Pick Central. And Brahms a hell of a coach, and this is a big bounce back season for him. So
a legend at Western Kentucky.
Oh, yeah, great coach. Yeah, and spurned Louisville. Spurned his alma mater to stay at Purdue. So, all right, let's get we're going to get a thank you. We're going to get another call. We've got Isaac from Philly wanting to talk some NFL. What's up, Isaac? You're on Pick Central.
How's it going, guys? Happy to finally get in here. I was going to call in for some NFL futures for leading the league in receiving yards. I figured there's some value there and some cool names that we might see take a big leap.
Okay.
I'm a little bit personally biased because I've been reading a little bit too much into the Titans offense. I think that they're going to do some special things this year, so I put a future in yesterday on A.J. Brown as my favorite to lead the league in receiving next year. I also sprinkled a little bit on Julio Jones as a long shot hopeful, and my more lower odds look is Calvin Ridley plus 800 or around there.
My thoughts on this, look, I love the Tennessee offense. But the part of it is they run it through Henry. They run a lot of play action. They're explosive. They score a ton, but they don't snap the ball fast. They don't get as many plays in. And Tannehill doesn't throw it 40 or 45 times a game. And we were talking about leading the league in receiving, like the Ridley one makes some sense because Atlanta could suck and be playing on a fast track in a dome, and he's a guy that can go off in the dome and explode. The Titans thing, I just don't know if they're throwing it enough for either one of those guys to lead the league in receiving, but I think they're going to have great years.
Yeah, I'm definitely a little bit biased in what I've been reading recently. I'm looking at stats of who led the league last year and who might have a big jump in terms of receptions this year. I don't see Stephon Diggs having the same season he had last season. Maybe guys like Allen Robinson or maybe a Devontae Adams could take a jump since they're pretty
What's
consistent
DeAndre
with
Hopkins
their production.
at? I feel like
his over-under was like 1350. I don't know about his odds to win it because I went
like
through
another
all this
year
over.
in that offense, especially sort of turned it on second half last year.
I do think
Right.
they both have good point. Like, he's leaning towards, you obviously want somebody on a good team, explosive offense. But to Ben's point, if you're playing on a blowout team, you're going to get a ton of garbage shit, too. You know?
Right. Yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah.
like, it's
Just even from a fantasy perspective, I think you always think of, like, the good receivers on the worst team.
Well, I know this is hard to even say. It's crazy because
Playing
he's only in his
against
second
prevents
year. But
down,
I mean, I don't know if he's even that much of a long shot because his over-under's high. I mean, Justin Jefferson had 1,400 yards for the Vikings last year,
That's
playing
good
on that dome turf.
Yeah.
I mean, like I don't know if he's enough of a long shot to mention necessarily to win it. But
would you knock back Adam Thielen because of
I feel like Thielen just can't stay healthy. He's very good still.
I fucking love him though.
No,
He's
I
like
love him as a player, but it's just
yeah.
like I feel like something with his groin. It's just something.
Do you
every
knock
year.
him back on fantasy value because of the emergence of Jefferson?
Yeah, well, and also that they want to run the ball with Cook too, with Zimmer, because Zimmer they fired that offensive coordinator a couple of years ago because he abandoned the run too much.
Okay.
And Zimmer's a defensive, a Parcells guy. He wants to run the ball. He wants to be balanced. You don't want Cousins to lose the game. All right, thank you for the call. Appreciate all the calls today, guys. 646-291-2437.
Thanks for having me.
337. We're gonna keep them coming. Let's go to. We'll try. We got Idaho. All right, Tim in Idaho, college football. What's up, Tim? You're on Pick Central.
Yeah. Thanks, guys. Real quick, Rico, quick question. Boise is favored at UCF week 1. It's a homer question, but the line screams to me that Boise is going to win by 2 touchdowns. I think they're a pretty good team with a new coach, something to prove, but I couldn't believe they came out favored by 4.5 or 5. I'm just trying to see what you think, Rico.
I saw Central Florida by 4. I don't know if y'all saw. I want to double check that line because I don't think Boise's laying points in Orlando with Gabriel back and Gus Malzahn coaching Central Florida. I feel like he may have seen.
I could have screwed that up.
Yeah, no, it's okay. I just really would be surprised if Boise's going down to Orlando, Florida. I thought I saw Central Florida by 4 in that one.
I'll get it right now for you.
But I am curious on that game because that is such a you think that's 2 of the best G5
It's
pro.
UCF -4.5.
Okay, it is. Yeah, Malzahn with Gabriel is going to be interesting because he's not that much of a runner. And you look at Malzahn, the running quarterback's kind of his thing. Boise, there's a lot unproven this year, I think.
I mean,
yeah.
The real letdown for them was that BYU game, but they went into. I think they ended up with like their 3rd quarterback. What's the kid's name? Is it Hackmeister? Who's BYU's quarterback? Or Bachmeister? They got it's got a weird name, right?
Yeah.
Bachmeister. He's coming back.
Yeah.
The thing that stands out to me is the over under at 71 for a week 1 game. But having watched so much UCF, and I know it's a new coach, it seemed like even if it started slow, somehow they would just hit the burners, and those games always went over. You're right. It's you had the line wrong. It's UCF -4.5. That to me is a watch, and let me feel out my oats moving forward type of game. I'm rooting for Boise. I've always liked Boise.
My one thought on that is early season game in South Florida. Weird climate situation for Boise. Getting down there if it's a real. I mean, I don't know if it's a night game or a day game. And I know Boise won at Florida State.
Yep.
Boise did win at Florida State, but Florida State sucks. You know, like I don't know. I just feel like that's a tough one to win on the road all the way down in Orlando to start the year. I just want to make sure I mention that. Za. Let's see if we can get. I don't know if Za's listening. The chat boys. Za, we got everybody in the chats asking for your thoughts on the EPL this year. Is it Man City's to lose? Will Arsenal finish outside the top 10? There's a bunch of people wanting.
Yeah, I'll make it real quick. We got some guests coming. So we're playing today. I am not confident in our abilities to win today. It's going to be a long season. Top 6. If we make it in the top 6, it'll be a miracle. I think it's Man City's title to lose. I mean, them buying Grealish is just that's a complete game changer. So those are my quick thoughts on the Premier League. And if you want to hear more, listen to Back Again. So that's Back Again with Troops TV on YouTube.
I'll give y'all a shout. Nothing like our Arsenal streams, man. The energy and passion y'all have. Y'all are.
Yes, sir.
You know,
So we got one.
I always feel like I'm an energetic guy, and then I see troops and realize I'm nothing.
Yeah, no, we got one. We got one today, this afternoon, 2:30. Make sure everybody tunes in. Troops TV on YouTube against Brentford. We're going to be out by Jack Doyle's. If you're in New York, pull up. It's going to be a good one.
Awesome. Well, we've got a few more guests who have joined us in the Pick Central studio. First, Stephen Shea of the Yak. Big shout out, Shea. Steven and I are the new hosts of the Fantasy Football Factory Pod. Filling some very, very big shoes. Utmost respect.
Big ones.
Big ones. Nick Tirani, Roan, Hank Lockwood. Starting next week, we actually we did our trial run earlier. Thought it went good and excited. Looking forward to FFF Pod.
I'm pumped.
Pumped up. We're going to get that out. We've got a bunch of fun stuff coming with that. And then also, last night, I saw a lot of fun stuff going on with the Yak and the skee ball championships, and we've got a couple of guests. Elon Futterman.
Yep, that's me.
Awesome. Welcome to Pick Central, and man, it looked like a big time last night.
Yeah, I mean, it was a huge event. There were a bunch of people there. Yak guys were there, and having a good time. It was, I think, their first experience with a competitive event like skee ball, so maybe a little bit more exciting than they were expecting going in, but it was a blast.
Let's throw some respect on Elon's name. He's a skee ball kid. He's the skee ball kid.
The skee ball kid.
The skee ball kid.
Wow. Damn. Okay.
I love the logo.
Well, when you're if you're throwing that the around, you must be running the sport.
Yeah, I mean, I am the current national champion of skee ball.
Okay.
Last night was a title match. I put my title on the line between me and Joey the Cat. He came out on top last night, so he's the number one ranked, but I still hold that national champion title until he takes it from me. So
how do you feel
like a sanctioned national championship?
So it was like a boxing fight, but not for the belt. Is what happened last night.
Yeah, it was like an exhibition match.
At what age did you realize you had something with skee ball?
Probably around 14. So I used to play skee ball all the time when I was like 5 or 6 down the shore in New Jersey. And I would just play for fun. My parents would give me $5. I'd play because it's cheap. And then they redid the arcades after Hurricane Sandy, and they had a jackpot, and I was hitting it like all the time. So when I was 14, I got an iPad. At the end of the summer, I spent like $70 to get an iPad. And I was like, holy crap, maybe I'm good at this. And then I just kept going back, and I kept getting better. Xboxes, TVs, whatever, and it just went from there. So
I've heard like online poker stories that are similar, but never skee ball.
Yeah, I mean, so one time I went into one of the arcades, and you had to get 500 points to get the jackpot. So I go in there, and I must have gotten around 1 million points in the arcade that night, just in like 2-3 hours, which is enough for like a 50-inch TV. And so the next day I come back, the jackpot limit, you have to get 600 to get the jackpot now, and they had a little sign up that said limited to jackpots daily. So that's the Elon rule.
Wow, you just came in. When you make people change the rules to the game, you're doing something right.
Yeah.
What are some tips you'd have for the casual skee baller?
So it's all about consistency, consistency in your throw and practice. So every time you throw, you want to do it the same way. Let it roll smoothly off your hand. That'll give you the best chance of having it go the same way and the way you want to. And repetition. I mean, it's like anything else. It's a lot of repetition.
What are your thoughts about going for the 100?
I'm a big 100 roller. I mean, that's kind of my strategy. I go for the 100s, and while I'm hot, I stay on them. If I cool off, I switch to the 40s and 50s. But Joey goes for the 50s, and he's very good at them. So.
Yeah, I think I was watching his he was doing 50-50-50. So
9 for 9 and won one of his things. Crazy.
Yeah, so when you're on with the 100s, it's great. I mean, it's hard to beat someone who's going 100s and they're hitting if you're going for 50s and 40s. But if you don't have it, it's hard.
So what was it like last night? Awesome for the Yak and Barstool to partner with skee ball. Had to be a fun atmosphere. Did you feel more pressure? What was that like?
Nah, I was having fun up there. I wasn't feeling too much pressure. I mean,
it's your element, huh?
Yeah. Look, last night was a win. Whatever happened with the match, I was just excited to have the whole event. It was such a cool experience. Obviously, I was hoping to do a little bit better in the match. I was hoping to win that first game, and when it didn't go my way, I knew things were going to be tough because the next 2 lanes were a little bit tougher. But he's a great competitor. We put on a show. That first game was one of the most exciting skee ball matches that probably anyone's ever seen. So
how does it work with the match rules? Is it always kind of the same national championship or?
Yeah. So
what was it last night? It looked like a bowling type thing.
Yeah, so every match is 10 frames. Each frame is 9 balls, so like one game of skee ball. And you alternate, so one person goes then the other one until you've each played 10 matches. Whoever has the higher total score from those 10 games is the winner of that match. Last night we did a best 3 of 5, so you had to win 3 matches of 10 games to win. But in 2019, it was a tournament setting where it was just, single knockout, one match, 10 games for each round.
So last night we came to the event, and if you've been listening to the Yak, we didn't have like the best idea what was going to happen. Like KB found the skee ball kid and the cat on Instagram, because on the prep sheet it was something like, would you rather have like like $100 or like be the best of the world in something super niche? And then we found you guys on Instagram, and then struck up a friendship, and then this opportunity came where they were going to meet for this exhibition match, which you put your belt on line for a championship match, and it just made sense for us to do something there. But I got there, the event started at 8, the official event. I got there at like 4:15, and I go back there. It is one of the smallest bars I've ever been in. Not a bad thing, but I walked in and I was like, whoa, this is different.
That's Williams.
Yes. But then I walked back there, and this is this atmosphere, or this is what it turned into. And 3 lanes, and it's just Elon and his dad, Rafi, just rolling. I got to struck up a friendship with Rafi. We were talking, I was like, how's he look today? He's like, he's a little inconsistent. But he's rolling, pretty consistent, like hundreds, like 300-400 every 9 balls. I'm watching. I watched it for 45 minutes or so.
Yeah. And
you could just feel that it was like gonna be an electric night, because it was such a small area, but you could tell that everyone was 200% invested in this. And then when Joey the Cat came later, I asked him, I was like, are you considered the greatest of all time? He just looked at me and said yes. And
wow, just like, how do you feel about that?
I mean, he's right. He's won it 4 times. I'm the newcomer. I'm the new one on the stage.
I heard some boos in the crowd there.
We were a divided show.
Yeah, my friend may have alienated me from Big Cat for chirping Chicago sports, so that may have aided in that. But
yeah, we were a divided show. It was me, Owen, Roan, and KB pulling for the kid. And then everybody else was pulling for Joey the Cat.
I had a lot of crowd support, too. A bunch of my friends came through, and they were loud, really loud. So
you hear a lot about parents of like elite athletes at a young age. What is it like being a skee ball dad of a world champion?
It's awesome. And if your kid becomes the best at anything in the world, it's just incredible. When he started wanting to play more seriously, we came across a world championship down in Wildwood. That's the first competitive skee ball that we actually saw. And we would drive from Edison down to Wildwood. The first time we actually drove up from Cape May, dropped my wife and my daughter off, drove back down to Wildwood. She's like, what are you doing? I'm like, if your kid's one of the top 3 at the time in the metropolitan area, that's good enough. That's really cool. I don't care if it's tiddlywinks. But skee ball's a whole lot cooler. And then he started winning all these big tournaments. This is the first big event he ever lost. He had won the second one. He'd won 4 in a row, though.
Wow.
Yeah.
Where are those rankings like publicized?
This is all based on Brew Skee Ball, or the National Skee Ball League. So they're the sort of governing body of skee ball.
Do you travel a lot for it, or is it mainly around here?
I've been lucky. Everything has been close by since I joined. So 2019 was in Brooklyn. I'm in Edison, New Jersey, so it's like an hour and 15 minutes. But I mean, Joey the Cat flew all the way from San Francisco yesterday, and same thing in 2019. So if one of the championships ends up somewhere else, I'll be going.
Heck yeah, you skee ball to see the country.
Last year was supposed to be in Gainesville, Florida. And 2 years ago, they had a couple people flew in from Germany for the event.
Yeah.
So there are people all around. That was surprising.
What kind of hooked me into the sport and yesterday is just like the difference in style. So like you guys talked about it, where Elon will go for hundos. Like he's a hundo roller, so he's going to aim for those 100 pockets like early. And then if he gets a lead, then he's going to be more conservative, go for 40s and 50s. Whereas Joey the Cat, a little bit of an old school guy, he's 35 years old. He's been playing, skee ball for a really long time, been top of the world for a long time. He's just rolling 50s. Like all the time he's rolling 50s. And if he's being super conservative, he's rolling 40s like it is a layup. Like 0 misses on a 40. But he had a rack yesterday, and I was doing like social for the Yak, and he hit 9 50s. Like, how do you possibly? And the match really turned. Like Elon was dominating early in the first frame on the lane that you liked the most, but then you forced Joey the Cat to get out of his comfort zone and roll hundreds, and he hit 3 in a row.
Yeah.
So things kind of changed there, and then you had one very tough frame, and it came down to 20 points between 90 rolls. It comes down to 20 points at the end. The first match was easily the best set of skee ball ever. And it's so much more than we expected.
Yeah, I mean, it's always a great time. 2019, I had, everyone from college just watching. I got like videos from people in the engineering building watching on the TVs there, and they're like, this is the most exciting sports thing I've ever seen. Like, screw football, basketball. Like, this is it.
Right.
It's like a full-time job, or you got something?
No, I work for Johnson & Johnson, so a little bit more lucrative than skee ball for now. I definitely would welcome the opportunity. Yeah, I mean, I don't do as much skee ball practice as maybe I should have been. So,
how are your GM skills? You might be in line for a better position than what the Jets have been doing.
Yeah, well, I don't know. Maybe one day. I think I'm a little young for that now.
Do your coworkers know about this hidden talent?
I think there were a good amount of them tuning in.
Okay.
It's like always like an icebreaker when you're first meeting people. So, and then anytime you're in a meeting with someone that knows about it, they say, "Hey, this guy's the world champion of skee ball."
Right.
So,
Are there skee ball groupies that like follow around?
I had a skee ball entourage last night. Of like 10 or so people. So, and I met my first ever like fan that wasn't a friend of mine, which is pretty crazy experience.
Can confirm there were a couple women last night.
Oh, yeah.
There were
multiple.
Hey, y'all, you want to grow skee ball? Good move, partner up with the Yak and Barstool. I mean, the people in the chat said it was awesome last night.
We were captivated.
Yeah, there's a lot of people saying it was super entertaining and enthusiasm on it.
What was nuts, and I'll own this. Like, we didn't do a good enough job building up the rivalry going into last night to the point where like we didn't even really know what to expect. But like once we got there, obviously I talked with Rafi and Elon for a while, and then talked to Joey the Cat, and kind of got to build it up more, and then like see it in action. Like, we were all just so captivated, and the audience was too. Like, we watched our stream, our stream started at 7, and they did like a prelim thing with the Hundo rolls, but then we had our show at 8, and then you guys went on at 9. There was a couple minute break in between, but the audience for the most part stayed to watch, which was really cool. And I know we had a couple tech problems, so sorry about that during the show. But it was like a very captivating thing. I got a ton of texts and tweets about like how enjoyable it was. So.
Yeah, the chat here is loving it.
Hashtag grow the game.
There you go.
Yeah.
Hopefully people are better picking skee ball than I was in college baseball. The bar has not been set high.
Yeah, you got to open the sports book for skee ball.
Hey, man, the way things are going, they actually announced today that Canada getting gambling August 29th, I saw.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I feel like every single day, I wrote a blog yesterday, it's like every single day something big happens with this company.
Yeah, exciting stuff.
It's just crazy.
Non-stop.
What's next for you?
So Labor Day is my next tournament.
Okay.
That's the one down in Wildwood, New Jersey. They have it every year for $1,000. I'm the 3-time champ of that one. So
don't come mess with you in Jersey on your home turf. Huh?
That's my turf.
You got to protect you.
So I'll be going there, hopefully bring the title back. I won that one 3 years in a row and then lost it last year. It was a little bit of a rough one. We had to have masks on. They had plastic sheets I was banging into the whole time while I was playing between the lanes. We'll see if, this year maybe go a little different. But, the guy who beat me did beat me fair and square. I rolled a 900 in that qualifying match during
game.
it. But, yeah.
How can we follow you on social media and follow your career?
So you can follow me on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. It's all the same handle, Skeeball Kid. That's SKEEBALLKID.
All right.
And I go live all the time on TikTok when I'm playing skee ball. So if you just want to watch.
You had like 18,000 people watching them yesterday. Warm up.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like, I'll just put it on. I stick it on the lane. I play for like an hour or two. And most of the time there's like 200, 300 people in there just watching. So it's fun.
Cool. Pretty
awesome. We got like a minute left. Rico, you want to get picks?
Yeah,
real
let's
quick?
fire it in.
I can go ahead if you need me to.
No, I got it.
Okay,
I'm going to keep fading the Pirates. Brewers -1.5. Brewers team total over. A's have been hot. I'll stick with the A's. Twins, I think there's some value. Got to put a dog on there. I'm going to go Falcons, Titans under. After what we've seen so far of the preseason, it's been ugly. I'll take the under.
Yeah, that's not the worst philosophy.
Nah, just keep
I've been laying the 1.5 in baseball, and it's still been working. I've got Boston by 1.5, Toronto by 1.5. I got Oakland, but I'm laying the 1.5 to not lay that juice back line. And I'm fading the Cubs. I'm laying $1.30 with the Miami Marlins because that's where I am on the Chicago Cubs currently.
So I do think the Nats have quit as well. The Nats are an auto bet against moving the rest of the way.
Yeah,
after what they did to the Mets, base running errors look like crap. Totally checked out.
It's interesting. I know you and I both hate laying the big juice usually. The 1.5 stuff actually it's been, I don't want to jinx it, but it's been covering. There hadn't been a lot of one-run wins like that.
I know. I got screwed with the Reds yesterday, but yeah, Brewers today, -1.5.
Also, I want to thank Tommy Smoke, Stephen Shea, the Skee Ball Kid. Thank y'all, and his dad coming on.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Yeah, man.
Awesome.
Awesome logo.
Appreciate Zah, TJ, our crew, Rico. I'm headed to York, Hollywood. New opening of a Barstool Sportsbook yesterday. Can't say I've ever been to York, Pennsylvania, but looking forward to checking that out. Congrats to them on becoming Ken's 43rd open casino. Thank y'all for joining us today for Pick Central on the Barstool Sportsbook YouTube channel. Also, thanks to White Sox Dave.